just want to welcome everybody to Hamilton's U.S. Senate Candidate Forum. I've never seen the pack this full, and I'm not surprised, but it's really a delight that so many people are giving up their football Sunday to come down to watch this really important event. I'm Jenny Johnson. I'm the managing editor at the Valley Republic, which is really honored to sponsor this really important event today. It's one of 4 debates between these 2 candidates in the state, and between Senator and Republican incumbent Conrad Burns and Democratic challenger Jon Tester. A special treat with the Hamilton Boy and Cub Scout Troop 76 presenting the flag and leading the Pledge of Allegiance.
Color guard attention. Color guard forward march.
How are we doing? Okay.
Post color. Scout salute. Lions, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
2. Color guard dismissed.
Thanks, fellas. Don't run, Mark. Good job.
The questions in this forum are representative of the many questions the Valley Republic readers sent to us over the last couple months. Senator Burns and Mr. Tester will each have an opportunity to respond to the questions and rebut their opponent's answers, with equal time given to each candidate. In the interest of time, please hold all applause until the end of the forum. We want to give these candidates, we want to take as much of these candidates' time as we can here today, and the forum will be over in about an hour. So Jon Tester won a coin toss at the beginning of the forum and chose to go second with his opening statements. So Senator Burns will be first in his opening statements.
Now?
Yes.
Thank you. And thank you, Bitterroot Valley, for turning out for such great numbers today. This is terrific. And it's great to have a debate in sort of rural Montana. Usually these take place in the more populated areas. So we're glad to be in the Bitterroot. And I can remember, I think about my first trip down here was a long time ago when the Chamber of Commerce had taken over the Daily Mansion. I was the broadcaster then. We come down and auctioneered the sale to raise some money to save it and to make it a landmark, and also was the speaker that night. For those of you who do not know, I have a great supporter here, the #1 supporter, my wife Phyllis, right down here. Phyllis, stand up. 40 years. She's a brand new grandmother, and we've been kind of honeymooning around for the last 40 years, and pretty proud of that. And it's been some time since I've been here, about a week and a half ago. There's some things about me that you may not know. I was the first full-time manager of the Northern International Stock Show and Rodeo in Billings. It still goes on today. I originated the MATE, the Montana Agri-Trade Exposition, which is the largest farm show between Seattle and Minneapolis. I also started the Northern Ag Network, which today you hear Taylor Brown, and when started farm broadcasting way back in 1975. I was elected to the Board of County Commissioners in Yellowstone County in 1986 and to the United States Senate in 1988. It's been my honor and privilege to represent the people of Montana And that's what I do, is represent and serve Montanans, and I'm proud of my record. I played a major part in changing telecommunications policy so that we can have a growing and modern telecommunications infrastructure. Distance learning now in our state is an everyday occurrence, and it's experienced by thousands of young Montanans. If we can just do one thing, and that is bring the same educational opportunities to those young people living in rural areas that people have in the more populated areas, then we've done our job. And we have done that in the most rural of all of our counties. Telemedicine delivers new ways to health care into rural areas. Here in Hamilton, you have a cardiac unit that does telemedicine between here and the hospital in Missoula, Montana. We played a big role in making sure that that was established. We will deliver health care into rural areas in a lot different ways than we did in the past. The energy bill that we passed last year that moves us towards energy independence, wind power, and more exploration and production, alternative fuels and renewable fuels, and also new income for our agriculture. But why are we here today? We are here because elections are about the future. We can see how the world has changed in the last 75 years. And just imagine if we got that new granddaughter right now, how it will change in her lifetime in the next 75 years. As 75 years ago, we were in the depth of a terrible depression. In other words, there was no hope anywhere. And it seemed at that time that, and since then, we have fought one world war, and we have gone to the moon. And we did it and put new technologies to work for us. So how do we set the table for the future of our kids? How do we ensure their freedoms and ensure their safety in their future? Our next generation will shape their own personal lives, but they will also shape the future of our country if they have the freedoms to do so. That is what this election is all about. It is all about those folks with vision, those folks that think into the future and think about the next generation. And I thank you for coming today.
Okay. Mr. Tester?
Good afternoon, everybody. I want to also thank the Ravalli Republic. I'd like to thank Senator Burns, and I would like to thank all of you folks for coming today, taking time out of the first day of the NFL season to be with us here today. I am Jon Tester. I was born in Havre, Montana, and raised in a little town in between Great Falls and Havre, a town by the name of Big Sandy, with a population of about 700. My wife, Charlotte, and I have had the opportunity over the last 28 years to farm the land that my grandfather and grandmother homesteaded back in 1916. I am currently the president of the Montana Senate, and I'm the Democratic candidate for the United States Senate. I am running for the Senate because the government isn't working for ordinary Americans. Today, in this country, we have working families, small businesses, family farms and ranches that are struggling to get by, working harder for less money, struggling to pay for $3 gasoline, struggling to heat their homes, struggling to afford the heating bills that are going to be coming up this next winter and that occurred last winter. They're wondering how they're going to send their kids to college and pay for it, or how they can stop having their kids coming out of school with $20,000 and $30,000 in debt. The fact is, right now, Americans are baffled by what's going on in Washington, D.C. today, where government, it isn't a representative democracy, it's an auction where the folks who get representation isn't based on what's right, but who can write the biggest campaign check. We move forth today in this campaign, and we're going to be talking about middle-class America and about the struggles that they go through at their breakfast table every morning, about how they're going to pay